Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Claire Newcomb. Today I should be talking you through a card that I'll be making using the daisy chain collection from the Apple Blossom range of dies that can be found on the Craft Stash website. I've gone ahead and embossed a piece of my cardstock with the embossing folder here. You can see it gives a lovely deep impression. When I use embossing folders, I like to emboss a larger piece of cardstock first and then cut the design down to the size that I need for my project. When you use embossing folders, it does alter the size slightly of the cardstock because the piece of the cardstock that you're embossing will actually shrink just slightly. So if you pre-measure it so that it's correct for your project initially, by the time you've run it through the embossing machine and embossed the piece, it would have shrunk slightly, so it may not work as well with your project. So now to go on and create the focal piece for the card. I wanted to use the daisy chain die, and so I've cut several strips of the daisy chain here. You can see it gives a lovely clean cut and the cardstock releases so easily from the die. What I wanted to do, I wanted to cut several strips of this daisy chain and I wanted to map them and mount them to form an overall background pattern. So I've already gone ahead and die cut 3 strips and stuck them to the cardstock there. So I shall just go ahead and stick the last die cut on. And we have our daisy chain panel. This does actually give the impression of an embossed piece of cardstock as well. So that will mount quite nicely on the top of there, so giving this card an awful lot of texture. Now, just to make this panel pop from the yellow background there, I'm just going to mount this onto a piece of black cardstock. Now, to add a sentiment to the card, I've pre-cut a tag using a die, and I've stamped a sentiment on there. It's a lovely get well sentiment. And we just, to show the versatility of these dies, I cut a strip of black daisy chains, and then what you can do, because these are the individual flowers, you can take your scissors and you can go in and you can actually snip away the individual blooms. As you can see there. And you can separate all of the daisy chains in the die there if you wish, and you can do that all different colours, so you can add detail to the dies that you have there if you wish. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to add this daisy to the die cut there. Leave that to one side to dry. So we have a lovely embossed card full of texture using the embossing folder and a striplet die for the background there.